It seems like a nightmare, but Rafarga is now working for Zagat. I tried to call him back, but Rafarga just grabbed his head and started groaning in pain. This mind control is terrible. First Ferio is controlled by Alcyone, and now Rafarga is controlled by Zagat. It has to be stopped.
Alcyone is such a bad sport. She can't even lose gracefully. But that shouldn't be any surprise, I guess. Poor Rafarga. At least Ferio is alright now. I guess we can take small comfort in that.
As I suspected all along, Ferio was controlled by Alcyone. Before he was released from her power, he tried to cleave me with the sword. It was frightening, I must admit. However, we're not out of the woods yet. Rafarga is now under Zagat's control and is acting in an evil manner.
When we defeated the monster Alcyone summoned, Fu's magic knight came out of the ground. We went down the hole left by the magic knight to try to save Rafarga. Oh, Rafarga. I hope he's still alive.
We put Alcyone's monster to rest. I hope that teaches her some humility. After we defeated the monster, Fu's magic knight was awakened. That was cool, I must admit. Now we only have one more magic knight to find.
My magic knight revealed itself to me. It is called Wyndham. I find it difficult to believe that such a huge creature resides inside a treasure amulet near my heart. Oh well, I suppose I'll get used to it. Anyway, we have to find one more magic knight and poor Rafarga.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Magic Knight Rayearth. Last time, we got Wyndham, the Machine of Air, which means that we only have one last machine to find. Also, a lot of mind control happened last time, especially with Rafarga now into the fray. Except he's being controlled by Zagat. We managed to get Ferio back because he was just being controlled by Alcyone, but well, Rafarga kind of fell off the Sky Garden, so we don't know where he is. Or if he's even alive. But before we do that, we're back in the area because we have something we need to buy. A nice magic jewel! That is going to cost all of our money. Now, let's see, Fu is one ahead of everybody else, so I'm gonna give this one to Hikaru. Soon enough, she's gonna be catching up with the rest of them. And you can kind of see that our gems are now depleting rapidly. And it's kind of at this point that I stop going to the fortune teller. Not just because I have only 2 gems, but this is some of the worst advice he kind of gives throughout the game. Because the advice he gives at this point includes go down to the ground and continue on. If you're diligent, your search won't last for long. And then pretty much the same thing, other than go to where trees are. So yeah, perfectly, wonderfully helpful. But even though Clef pretty much is saying to have save Sephiroth as our top priority, that's not going to be the case in terms of what the girls are concerned. They're really concerned about Rafarga more than anything else. So that's what we're going to be doing, and that's pretty much where the fortune teller is going to have us go. We just got to teleport all the way back to where Wyndham was, and head on down to the ground. Into a new area. Welcome to the Whispering Woods. This area is really small place that we actually could have gone to beforehand. When we first arrived at the Rainbow Junction shop, I did mention that the route south led to an area that we weren't going to be going to, and this is the area. Mainly because there really wasn't anything to do here at the time. But now it's become important. This area also is kind of really nice. It has pretty much a lot of feelings of respite towards it. Because it's really only 2 screens, this guy's house and where we're dropped off from the Sky Garden. But it has just a couple of little details to it. My dearest wife rests here eternally. The other thing that this thing has is this little green patch over here just kind of not really fitting well into the rest of the area, which gives us a green rainbow amulet. It's pretty much all the collectibles that we're able to get at this point. Let's head on inside. Now this old man you could have talked to a lot earlier, and pretty much he just says that he lives here just to get away from everything. Kind of like the old woman who lives in the igloo. But I really don't see that much of a connection between them. I want to talk to you, though. Boom. Now you can pay attention to the guy that's in the bed. Guess who it is? Apparently he has tremendous physical fortitude because he can withstand being smashed into the ground like a meteor. Another thing I want to actually point out is just the attention to detail in this house overall. Just the little bits and details like the flowers on the table here. Fu also mentions like table, 2 chairs, 2 beds. Well, from the stone in the back, kind of see why. But another thing I kind of compare this place to, minus the person in the bed, is I've been playing a little bit of Tales of Symphonia on my downtime, and I don't know about you if you've ever played it. This gives me the feeling of just Dirk's house at the beginning of the game. I honestly don't know why. But anyway, it's Rafarga! Let's say hi, if you know he's conscious. Still has the face paint on. Oh. Well, if they weren't going to play the mind control card, they're instead going to play the amnesia card. Doesn't know who we are, doesn't know where he is, doesn't know who he is. Well, this is a bit of a pickle. However, one thing I do want to point out, that I didn't point out when the whole thing up on the Sky Garden was going on, was that one little clever thing that this game does is, in terms of voices. If you remember the one cutscene back in Zagot's Fortress, where he was going to send Rafarga out, but we didn't get to see him, we only heard his voice.
Now let's see what you're capable of, shall we?
Yes, my lord. Consider it done.
I think that's a really good detail in order to actually point out. Because unless you were really paying attention, you wouldn't know who that voice belonged to. If you were, though, you would know that it was Rafarga's voice because we did hear his voice once before when we first met him in Rosen. That's just some good attention to detail, and it's like something you do pick up if you really are paying attention to the game. Well, that's as good a lead as we're ever going to get in terms of actually finding something to help his amnesia. It's true. How much medicine could that leaf, that single leaf, make? Hopefully Athena is really good at making medicine, though. But that's where we're going to be heading to next. Clef even gives us hints on that. He is fully on board in terms of going with Rafarga's memory. We're doing this thing! Now back to the fortune teller guy. You can also go back to him at this point, and he gives even worse advice. In fact, this guy gives better advice than the fortune teller does. Because he pretty much just kind of goes into I am a sham territory. I am scamming you out of your money. Actually, I'm gonna go talk to Rafarga again. I'm gonna press him. Also, it doesn't matter who you talk to Rafarga as, Hikaru will technically be the one who speaks to him. But pretty much what the fortune teller says at this point is, go to where there's a big tree, there's a hospital, blah blah blah. The thing he doesn't do is reference names, like he never comes out of his tent. However, before we actually do that, there's a couple things that I do want to get taken care of right now that we have the chance. And that's going to mean going actually up to the Rainbow Junction shop. It has been a little bit since we've been up here, but we have collected a lot more rainbow amulets than we have before. We have a full set of 6 at least, so we can pick up a couple more things. For instance, there's this ring over here. Big, huge ring. The magic recovery ring. Now, long ago when I said that magic points sometimes recover as you stand still, is kind of the case if I wasn't moving constantly with every single place that I go to. You need 5 sets of rainbow amulets in order to get this, and it pretty much just speeds up the regeneration rate. I don't get much use out of it, though. Then again, I didn't really get much use out of MP recovery at all. Except for that, I think that one time in the Eternal Ice Cave, but that was so long ago. So there it is. Just stand still and it will charge MP a little bit faster than if you didn't have it. So there's that, but there's a couple more things that we were able to get. Remember Precia's shameful secrets? Well, there's another one. The 3rd one. This was technically the next item we were able to get back when we only had less than 4 sets. But now we have 4 sets, so we can get another picture. Another scandalous mess. No. I'm not keeping these photos. I'm doing exactly the opposite of what you tell me to do. Cool? Not really. Wiggly eyebrow clown juggler. But there we go. Another picture. Disturbing, yet provocative. And Precia goes down for the pin on Makona. The most relaxed wrestling match I've ever seen. I suppose. Oh, poor Makona. And there we go. And of course you probably guessed what we're going to be doing with this one. Like the other 2, we're going to be headed back to Precia's Manor. Let's go. Hey Precia! I have good news! The only news I ever come with! Because I don't see you more often. I have another picture! Do you like? You never do. I'm sure it is. Okay, yeah, it is. Yeah, your fuse is getting shorter every single time. Do you want a description, or do you want an artist's rendition? Oh well. Let's see what happens at this point when you talk to her. Yeah, we did! One machine remains to be found. What she kind of points out here is actually, well, a little bit interesting. You see, it's like, the volcanic area was the area that was to the right of Rosen. And if you remember from way back then, Caldina was hypnotizing the people of Rosen in order to excavate that area in order to find the machine there. And it turned out to be a bust. So, in terms of Clef's clue, volcano, if it's not there, where else could it be? It's a really good question. Now I'm going to take the scenic route back to the Rainbow Junction shop because we have one last thing in order to do there. But the reason why I'm back in Palizu specifically is, well, you wouldn't think an RPG like this would have anything kinda dickish about it, but it does have a little bit of a point of no return in terms of getting collectibles. You see, this is pretty much going to be almost the very last time that you're going to be able to come here and collect the rainbow amulets in those spots if you did not already. Also, sometimes you can just check in on characters to see what they're going through, and Lucino is pretty much doing alright. But yes, there's going to be an event coming up really, really soon that is going to be, well, affecting this particular area, which is going to make some things missable. So if you haven't picked up the rainbow amulets at this point, do this now before you go back and get the elixir for Rafarga. Otherwise, we can just go across the stream here and back to the Rainbow Junction shop. Back in the shop, back at Precia's picture, there is one last shameful secret, the most embarrassing picture of all. There's only 4 pictures, but this is what we need 6 amulets in order to get to. The minimum anyways. Yes, I do want it. Gimme, gimme! What now? Even if heaven and earth turn upside down, do not show this picture to Precia. Okay, there's our warning. Who knows what's gonna happen once he does this? But now we have the shameful secret to number 4. The epitome of silliness. This picture kind of has a couple of implications on it. Either magic went horribly wrong, or this is a really old picture. I'm not really sure what to make of it, to be honest. Well, anyway. I guess, well, in terms of Princess Emerald being taken away as the pillar, which means that Sephiroth is kind of degrading, heaven and earth is technically turning upside down, so, well, even if that happens, I don't care. It's going back to Precia anyways. Yo. I'm never here with good news. That's way too big of a font. Precia is nothing but shame. I get that picture, or your head. She's gonna kill us. More like manhandles us, shakes us silly, and then she gets the picture. I don't really understand what's really bad about it. But that's kind of it for this little... I don't know what you would really call it, side quest? And if we go back to the Rainbow Junction shop really quickly, it's still here and you can examine it. But there are no more pictures to get. Aww. Come on. You're not even a good pervert, are you? But with that out of the way, let's head back to Leary and get that elixir. Fingers crossed. Alright, back in Leary. No time to waste anymore. Let's head back all the way up to the hospital. Now, one thing in the hospital I actually didn't show off was that there was the receptionist desk on the right, but also on the left there is a small passageway which brings us into where, well, the receptionist actually would be. I'm gonna just take her job. Very easily to do. Yeah, no time to waste as I examine things, but this one actually looks really weird. It's a mix between, like, magic and machine. Hardly have any idea either. Furniture, exactly. Now, let's go back up. And Abner hasn't moved since we left. No? Alright then. We're all good to go, but Athena is still doing her business over here. Great. This is a little bit of a weird sequence here because, well, she actually does leave in order to actually do it. It's not a fade to black and she comes back and we have the elixir. There's walking involved. Yeah? Yes? Alright then. Abner and Athena have a little bit of a weird relationship, I think. Oh well. That's how it's gonna be. There's not much left. No, I totally just told her about it, but we don't need to tell you about the new secret that we just made. But now we have, in our items, we have Athena's elixir. We're running out of actual spots that we haven't seen yet in terms of items. Precia's shameful secrets were in this slot. The sunrise and twilight medallions were in this slot, so we only have 2 items that we haven't seen yet. But now, we have everything that we need to do for right now, so we can head back to the Whispering Woods and help out Rafarga. Hopefully, we'll get his memory back through the use of the Tree of Life's elixir. And we're going to be doing that next time. See you next time, everyone!